Do you have a dream of yoga being the work you do most in the world, but you just can't see how yoga could ever sustain your life? Yoga teachers and the yoga industry in general has a certain skewed perspective on what money is that I see holding people back from living passionate lives, from having meaningful work, from doing good in the world and spending a lot of time doing good in the world. Now, I'm not talking about abundance mentality or law of attraction or anything like that. That's not really the vibe of this, but it's something more simple and maybe more grounded than that. So today, I'm going to talk through the perspective I see in the yoga industry that is holding people back from living into these lives that we know are meant for us, these passion driven lives, this work that does good in the world. And then I'm going to talk through the two-step process that I see that helps yoga professionals start to step into getting to teach yoga a lot in a way that sustains their lives, if that sounds good to you. There's this perspective that the yoga industry holds that money is evil, or and this is why people say, I'm not in it for the money. They kind of have this idea that money is not needed and that it's bad. Money gets blamed for the greed in the world. Money gets blamed for the bad things that happen in interpersonal conflicts. These things existed before money or without money. People fought each other and killed each other to get land. People fought each other and killed each other to get things that were not money. So that's a human trait that doesn't need to go get put off on money. What is money? Money is simply a representation of value. So instead of living in a gift economy, which to me sounds great, right? So instead of helping harvest your neighbor's field and then waiting, and then they do you a favor a month later and take care of your children, right? Whatever it is that might happen in a gift economy, instead of that, money makes things more scalable because a little piece of paper or a coin, which we don't really have anymore now, just like a tap on your phone, that represents the value. So it's not inherently evil, it's just a system we have. Gift economy sounds great. I'm down. It's not the world we were born into. We could fight the battle and uh, try to return to a gift economy or a barter and trade economy. I know some great people who spend more time in barter and trade. That's awesome. If that's the way you want to spend your time, seems great, right? It's not how I'm going to spend my time. And if you're really drawn to teaching yoga or running a wellness space, I bet you would prefer to do that than try to change our economic system to barter and trade, right? um, I just think about like, what was the world we were given? The world we were given is one that uses money. And so if your dharma or your path is not to change that economic system, it could be great to just be with it, right? And then move on to the good work that you have to do in the world. If your dharma is to change the economic system, I fully support you. So if we have this system that we have something that represents value as opposed to bartering and trading things with actual value. So instead of giving you a blanket in exchange for a pot, we're going to do the money thing. But what that does is it makes the world become more open. So there's a positive thing about it. When we have money in this exchange using this value system, we get to fly to Paris and see what Paris is like. I think in a gift economy, you would spend more time in your local village. But with money, we can fly to Paris. We can go to that retreat in Bali. We can buy a handmade pot from Peru. It's kind of cool. It's exciting. So here we are. And I think like this money is not inherently evil. It's just the system we live in. And what it is just a representation of value can start to free us up. If we want to spend more time doing the thing we're drawn to do, teaching yoga, running wellness centers, then we are living in a system where we are going to need to have an exchange and get the thing that buys us the things that we need, like a roof over our head and the money. Oh, and the food. So we do need it. We can't just say I'm not in it for the money or I don't care about money. You can't just bury your head in the sand and say I don't care about money unless you have a great plan. Some plan to live without money, which I know people who do more of that, and that's great. But if that is not what you're going to do, you need the money so that you're not in a job that you don't enjoy or you don't think provides as much good in the world. Then you can be in this job with yoga that provides the good in the world. So I think a big shift that is completely necessary if you want to live a meaningful life and have a passion driven career is understanding that money is simply a representation of value. It is not evil. That is something that got ascribed to it that we don't need to ascribe to it. Money is just a representation of value. Now, moving into this two-step process that I think is really, really important if you're going to have passion driven work is you have to acknowledge that money represents value. So we have to first provide a lot of value to our community, to our students, to the people that we serve. And then, second step, we have to make sure that we're clearly communicating that value so that they see why they would exchange it for money. And I think especially yoga teachers and the yoga industry in general is really missing the second step and the first step. So, providing a lot of value. In the yoga industry, currently, a lot of the yoga studios and the gyms hinge their business on having brand new yoga teachers who accept lower wages. Now, that's okay. When you want to get your foot in the door, of course, you're going to accept a lower pay point. That's fine. That's how most industries work. But the problem with this is that most of the yoga institutions are not investing in their people, in their yoga teachers, to become really, really good at what they do. They're not investing in them or requiring them or providing leadership to help them provide immense amounts of value. There are tons of yoga teachers providing a lot of value. Of course, people's lives are getting changed by a yoga practice every single day. But often there's not leadership that's helping that happen. You have to go get training outside of your yoga studio or outside of the gym, or you just have to kind of create it and make it happen on your own. I think also there's good things and bad things about this. This makes us creators. We get to pave our own path. It's the Wild West. We get to make whatever we want to make. But then the bad thing is it's really great to have a support system and somebody who believes in you and somebody who's like, here's the clear path, walk this way. So a lot of industries have that. They invest in their people and they really want them to provide a lot of value in their job. So they give them tools to make sure that happens. In the yoga industry, you can't really rely on the studios or the gyms or whatever to do that for you. Not saying that some don't, I have experienced yoga studios who heavily invested in my growth, and I'm so grateful for it. But it's not the go-to or the status quo. So, this means that we have to do it on our own. We have to seek out the books and the podcasts and the teachers who have come before us to help us provide immense amounts of value. We have to be the ones that are curious. Am I queuing in the wrong order? And is that why they're getting confused? Am I providing the right format of class? Maybe I'm more suited to a different format. Am I serving the population that I can serve and provide the most value to? Or am I serving a random population that I actually don't provide as much value to? So we have to do this. We have to be hungry and we have to seek out the things that make us an expert, because the yoga industry is not set up in a way that ladders us up and supports us in becoming experts. We have to do it on our own. So when you become an expert, and I want to say that this doesn't have to take years and years. I don't think anyone most industries don't say flail around for 5 years and then you'll be great. They usually provide some kind of support and guidance and path forward so that as a physical therapist, just a little bit in, you are providing enough value that they can charge their clients what they charge their clients. So it's having a clear path forward. It's not years and years of trial and error. I think that can just be really disheartening. Experience, of course, makes you better, but I don't think you have to flail. It doesn't have to feel disheartening or feel like a big struggle. It can feel like a steady growth path instead. So, finding the ways to make sure that you're serving the right population, you're serving them well, you're serving them in the right modality, and now you're providing transformation and a lot of value. And then the second step is explaining that value. In the yoga industry, we do a lot of free yoga in the park. Oh, donation based. Oh, and this is the opposite of explaining, like, this is valuable. The reality is, humans pay for things that are valuable. Whether you're making a ton of money or a little bit of money, you will invest in things that you find to be valuable. People invest in things that have perceived value, which is the interesting thing about money. So we're not just trading pots and blankets back and forth, but rather people buy things that make their status go up. People buy things that help them fit in. People buy things that are practically very useful and inherently have a lot of value. And I don't think this is bad. This is like, I love art, and art is perceived value. And it's not inherent value, it's perceived value. And I love that we have this flexibility and creativity to buy art, right? So it's important that we are showing that if you invest in this, you will get transformation. It will make your life better. It will give you the things that you need. And now you're going to explain this depending on the value you give. Some yoga teachers are going to say, what I provide is so much joy and fun that it's going to shake up your week and make you excited to be alive and to wake up the next day. That's a lot of value. Some yoga teachers are going to say, I help you overcome migraines in my 5-step process. And that is really important to somebody who suffers with migraines. Some people are going to say, I'm going to help you overcome grief through this program. And so, if you actually are providing a lot of value and then you explain that value, that is what people pay for. And that is how you do the thing that is so much more important than having a pile of money. As yoga teachers, we don't care about a pile of money. We care about having meaningful lives. We care about having work that truly helps other people. We care about living life to the fullest. And this is how you live life to the fullest, because as a representation of money, as a representation of value, when money is exchanged, it does have that effect. It has a thank you effect. When somebody gives you something that feels like a fair exchange, they're saying, thank you for that hour of yoga. It was useful to me. I'm glad that you don't have to struggle to have a roof over your head or have the resources that you need. We all feel grounded and complete. Thank you. So, this is how you build a sustainable teaching career, by kind of shifting the way you're thinking about money and seeing it as a representation of value. I hope this helps. I hope you go out into the world and show your value, create a lot of value, help people. I'll see you in the next episode.